I'm joined here on the Celtic Exchange this afternoon by Matt McGlone. Matt McGlone is known to many as one of several figures who drove Celts For Change back in 1994, as we saw regime change at Celtic. They say the more things change, the more things stay the same, but don't worry, we're not here to promote Celts For Change 2025, or at least not through Matt. It's not something that he'll be doing at this moment in time, but we were speaking to Matt this afternoon about a separate project, about a Jim Craig statue project, which is an amazing thing in itself. But we thought it would be remiss not to have a chat with Matt about the current situation at Celtic Park and what's going on, and about the anger and the unrest amongst fans, particularly in recent days, Matt, as the transfer window, the catastrophe of a transfer window took place. We fell out of Europe the week prior, and things have hit the fan. And do you see similarities, Matt, between now and 30-odd years ago?
Well, it was a different situation 30-odd years ago. 30-odd years ago, the club had no money. The club were going out of business. That's a proven fact. Until Fergus McCann stepped in, and then with John Keane and various other people, he refurbished the club financially. So it's a completely different situation. What is the same is the anger and the rage and the emotional attachment that people have to Celtic. And why they're so emotionally attached to Celtic is why they're so angry. Because the club have got reservoirs of money. Things couldn't be better, well, prior to now, as far as winning things, and we did progress in Europe last year. But we suddenly go into reverse gear and we disappoint the people that feed us, the support. That I find astonishing. I don't know how any other company can run like that. The problem that you and I and tens of thousands of other Celtic fans have is we're emotionally tied in. So we will buy the strips, we'll buy the new training gear, we'll buy everything every year, we'll buy the season tickets, we'll buy the pies, bovrils, the rock hard pizzas. We'll do all these things. But we're doing this because we're devoted to you being Celtic. We're doing this because we love you. We are committed to you. But don't treat us like an old lover. Don't talk to us in a different way. Don't treat us in a different way. And that's where the anger is just now. Fans are giving, but not getting. If you or I walk into a shop and we buy that jacket there, if that jacket's 50 quid, we get a 50 quid jacket back. We're giving money to Celtic and getting a substandard jacket back. We're getting a jacket all frayed with no arms in it. You know,
give or take.
An off the tongue analogy. So what we're doing is we're supporting the club. We're here, we love you. We want things to stay the same and continue building. But they're not, and I've got a reason I think why that is.
Okay, and I'll get that from you in just a second. You spoke about the fans and everything the fans do. My brother James from the show here, his big point recently has been that in football, not just at Celtic, in football in general, there's an unwritten two-way agreement where the fans, as you say, Matt, buy the season tickets, buy the merchandise, buys the bottles, all that kind of thing. They do their bit. I heard one fan talk about the fact that he spent best part of $1,000 already this season, or it will be when he buys his Europa package. So nearly 700 for season ticket. It'll be 160-ish for Europa. He's bought a ticket for a friendly against Newcastle and a cup game against Falkirk, and before you know it, you're heading towards $1,000. And he's meeting his end of the bargain, as are thousands, tens of thousands of others. But the club aren't doing their bit. So the unwritten agreement, or the unspoken agreement, is fans will do their thing, and the club's thing is to support the manager and put the best possible product on the park and give the club the best possible chance of success. And there is no doubt at this moment in time, Celtic aren't doing that. Why are they not doing it?
Well, I think this is my theory, and it's a theory I've got myself. Just by reading the room and looking at what's happening here, and how could somebody possibly sort of run a business? It's a business. Run a club stroke business down like this when all things are going well. There's 12 months left, or less than that, of Brendan's contract. And he said, as well, we're at the press conference, I'll be here for 3 years.
Yep.
And I think his words were, unless I get the Dan Mac.
Yep.
I hadn't heard that phrase for quite a while. He's been in Leicester for 4 years. Somebody must have told him when he came up. So he's here for the 3 years, and this is his final year. The press have constantly been asking him, are you staying beyond? Are you staying beyond? Now, if we look at the basics here, Manager, running the club, seems to be doing quite well, although of late in the last 8 or 9 months, he's not winning big games. Had you stay in? So the club have a decision to make. Brendan himself admitted they've had conversations but those conversations seemed to me, when he spoke about them, were just a chat, exploratory. I don't think the Celtic board want to give Brendan a new contract. If they gave him a new contract for 3 years, that'd be 9 years at Celtic, albeit a couple of months. I don't think that that's what the club want. Now, if that is the case, or maybe it's the case that he said to him, I'm not staying. And they're going, well, why would we give you 30 million last year for Trusty, Ingles, Ida, Yang, and Bernardo? Why would we give you that again if you're going to walk out the door? So there you have a schism. And what I think's developed here is a battle of wills between the manager and the board, and it's getting played out in public. The big problem is that we, the fans, are in the middle. And that's what I think the problem is here. Now, if you know, keep going back to the emotional attachment to Celtic, because that's where most of the money comes from. And, you know, running a business, you know, like a supermarket, a price of something in that supermarket is lower because there's 5 other supermarkets selling the same product. So it keeps the price of that product lower. But we are in one supermarket, the Celtic supermarket, where we love the club, and they are basically, use a Glasgow phrase, gees, money, but not giving back. And that's where the anger and the angst is coming from right now.
Yeah, it's the ultimate monopoly, isn't it? It's not like you're going to go to Celtic Park one week and then take yourself off to Thistle the next, and then go and watch Petershill or any other club around Glasgow. You're Celtic, and that's it. And that's how they get you. That's the stranglehold. And it'd be easy for a neutral or a non-sports fan or a non-football fan to say, well, why don't you just walk away from that and spend your Saturdays going for walks in the park and going to the cinema?
There's nowhere to go.
Exactly that. They've kind of got you there. Matt, you've indicated that you think it is an issue, a fallout between the manager and the board, and that the fans are caught somewhere in the mess of all that. Let me ask you specifically, is it, in your opinion, the manager and the board being the chairman and Michael Nicholson and Chris Mackay and all of these characters, these figures, or do you think it's more directly with Dermot Desmond, who, by all accounts, calls all the shots at Celtic Park?
Well, we know what Dermot's influence is. We know the board are there, and we know who gives the biggest influence. So as a collective, that will be every day. I don't think it's a personal situation. But my problem here is whether Brendan's told them he's not staying and they say, we're not giving you money, or they're saying, you know, we're not keeping you, we're looking for a new direction. The problem is here, it is not Brendan's job to run the club. It's Brendan's job to run the team. It's the board's job, or the PLC, or if you want to say Dermot Desmond, or a collective of of that hierarchy. It's their job to run the club. So if that is a schism there, either doesn't want to stay or we don't want you, the club have to run it and say, well, this is what we're going to do. This can't fester on till next May. You can imagine every single press conference he's staying and going until something comes out. The goodwill and welfare of the club must be get money in to buy players and get a manager in, you know, who's going to be here longer term than 8 months. That's what the board have got to do, and that's what they're not doing. That's the problem here.
Okay, everyone, we're going to leave it there for now on this one. But if you'd like to watch the full episode, you can do that right now by joining us over on Patreon at patreon.com/Celtic Exchange. As a member, you'll get access to the rest of this episode, plus all of our additional shows, including pre- and post-match shows for every game, a range of extra episodes throughout the week, and loads more from the team here at Celtic Exchange. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up, and once you're in, you can continue watching the show on your device or directly on the brilliant Patreon app. So that's patreon.com/Celtic Exchange, or just click the link in the show notes. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you over on Patreon shortly.